Okay, long-term review time. Oh, hello, moth. Go away. I've been kind of delaying doing this final review. So anyway, here we go. I got a newie. I got a freshie. DUNLOP sent me one. Thank you very much. I reached out to them. I talked to them about what I was doing, expressed some concerns. They gave me some information, and they sent me a fresh tire compared to my old tire. So I'm not gonna say much on the front. Well, here, let's do this. Front end, sitting on the wall. It's got 42 hours on it, and I mean, quite frankly, I didn't realize how much I liked this tire until I pulled it off and put AT81 on. Once again, this is a review. This is the comparison between the 81 to the 82. Yeah, other tires are cool. You guys like to point out that you don't like these tires. Whatever. Not the point of the review. Front tire to front tire, hands down, no comparison whatsoever in my mind. Go with the AT82. The AT81 is it's a good tire if you're used to it. It's not a great tire, and if you find something that works better, it's not a better tire. Overall, the way I've been riding the AT81 rear to AT81 front, I will say that they are a very well-matched tire to themselves. And this will actually relate more to my review of my complaints on the AT82. God, did I say that wrong? AT81s that are on the bike, well-matched. AT82 front to rear, not well-matched. Specifically, the AT81, now that I've worn the 82 out, swap back to a fresh set of 81s. Front end, hands down, I'm happy going to the 82. The 81, I don't have the confidence in it because it just doesn't perform as well. The 81 rear tire is very predictable in all angles. So once you lose the good bite, you're down, it rounds over. The tire's forward bite is okay, but you could flat track the hell out of this tire. It's very predictable in how it leans over, how it slides, how it performs, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've enjoyed it, is even though the traction may be lacking, the performance is predictable. You can lean on it, you can do whatever. Now, the front end, though, since I got used to being able to push harder on the 82, I've been washing the front end a lot more than ever before, simply because I think I've just been expecting it to perform better. Now, I'm not a motocross guy. I don't throw in, all the time. It is what it is. Who cares? That's not the point. Front end to front end, holy shit, way better. 42 hours, like I wrote it on the sidewall. It's upside down. You can see 42 hours. Tire has not chunked whatsoever. Sidewall softened up a little bit, but not a big issue. I'm literally going to take that and put it on my 500 and take the 500 tire and probably throw it in the trash. Now, to the rear. The big. I put 34 hours on this rear AT82. And I have some very, very, very specific complaints, some very, very specific comments and opinions about this tire. Forward bite traction. In the scooped configuration, this tire, forward bite, forward traction, is stellar. Like, honestly stellar. This thing has been worn, it's been worn. You can see. This thing is worn down here. Let's do that. Let's do the, look at the old, look at the new. Look at the old, look at the new. Like, it's been chunked a little bit. It's been drug a little bit. It's been this a little bit. But here's what's impressing me, is in the scooped configuration right here. Specifically, right there. Even as worn as it is, right there. It's still a scoop. It's still got a pocket. So I guarantee you, if I put this tire back on and went out and did a wear comparison for worn tires, as long as this tire is normal to the ground, so, you know, or not normal, yeah, normal, parallel, perpendicular, parallel, right? Parallel, perpendicular. As long as this is perpendicular to the ground and this guy can scoop, it has really good forward bite. But that is the crux of my complaint. The crux of my complaint is, as long as you are riding this tire and the ground is perpendicular to the tire, it has really good traction and really good bite. But once the tire has some lean angle to it and you slow down, the damn thing washes out. So this tire was essentially designed for GNCC racing. For GNCC racing, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. And for the stints that we've been seeing it in motocross and super motocross, it also makes sense. You know, for the most part, you have a berm, you have a rut, you have something that you're putting the tire into that it's biting. The problems that I have with this tire is when I am riding down a trail and I am side hilling on the trail, the damn thing just washes out. The rear end washes out. The front end, really good, stays where it should be. The rear end washes out. Now, given that I reached out to Dunlop, they gave me a bunch of information, they watched some of my videos, and they gave me some feedback. I should probably pull out the piece of paper and read you everything they sent me, but here's the long and short of it. The explanation is the design reason, the design intent for these being further apart is being for the intent that they designed it. If this lug gets deformed, you know, you hit a rock, you hit a bump, you hit a root, you hit a something. The spacing here does not affect these two lugs, so these two lugs should stay planted on the ground. Whereas if you have something like over here, if I push in here, given the rigidity, I'm going to lose some of the traction off of the outer lugs because this guy goes in, these deflect. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, woo, one of those things. Anyway, who cares? You will lose. So they're basically saying, hey, we want to spread these out because if this one gets hit really hard and I'm going in this direction, this lug is affected and then that lug is affected, so I don't get good bite until the third one. Whereas over here, the expectation is if this lug gets hit, this one's further away, that it's not as affected, so you have a percentage of benefit in traction. Now, this is an interesting thing to talk about. I'm actually an engineer by trade. I'm not going to get into that, doesn't matter. The importance is sometimes when you're chasing a percentage of increase in an area, you have a relative decrease in overall performance in others, but it doesn't show up on paper, it shows up on feel. So I'm sure by the way they designed this was a great design intent, and by doing the calculations and the math and blah, 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 it was supposed to be better. But I can tell you right now, I am on the fence ever buying another one of these. Like, I'm so on the fence that I literally bought other tires. Like, look, I have other tires. I'm going to try those out. MX3 Tusk 30, what is that, 5? TE30, yeah, T35. Another conversation, another video later on. So, I ran this thing, I want to say it was 25 hours in the scoop configuration, and then I flipped it and did the backwards configuration, because typically I flip these tires. Being symmetrical, when you flip it, you just get that bite back, and it gives you good performance. This tire, when I flipped it, in all honesty, it performed, you know, well enough, but it didn't really perform better to justify the effort of flipping. So, like this tire over here, once I finally put it on and run it, I'm not going to flip it. I'm going to run this thing until it's just garbage and throw it in the trash. So it'll be interesting when I put this on, how long I run it for before I decide to get rid of it. Which is also going to be interesting because I think it's going to be very opinion-based, because one of the things, once again, that really bothered me from day one, and I said it out loud, and I'm saying it continually, is this tire on lean angle or side hilling. Side hilling is really, really the problem. It just does not perform as well as expected. And let me be a little more specific. It holds. It holds, it holds, it holds. But when it breaks loose, you drop your bike. I may be over-exaggerating, but for the way I ride, for my performance, for my talent, it's great until it's not. The AT81, on the other hand, like I kind of already said, it's one of these tires where, well, it was already sliding. So if you're already sliding and now you're sliding at an angle, you're just controlling the slide. So you're balancing the drift on this, which is predictable, so you can hang it out there and have fun. This is insane traction as long as I'm stood up, and then I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Shit, I fell over. You know, I specifically have been waiting to, I guess, talk about this and do this review specifically because I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. There's about 6 other, I'll say, independent reviews online of this tire. A couple guys on motocross tracks, one guy in the Arizona desert, and they've all been similar in conversation of the tire has really good forward bite, but when it gets into the conversation of lean angle or side hilling, it just doesn't have what I want or what I expect. So as far as wear goes, I mean, I don't know. I got a video up for my last ride when it still had 34 hours on it. And I'll say, other than one kind of super shitty hill climb, that's a super shitty hill climb regardless. Because it's like loose shale with dirt. So it's just a bitch of a traction. And with low lug height, it's just difficult, period. That ride, I really didn't have any rear tire complaints. Now, once again, understand, I am the abnormal. I don't run mooses. I run ultra heavy duty Michelin inner tubes. I run them at like 6 PSI in the rear. And I don't really have problems. But the tire chunked a little bit for my conditions. The tire broke down a little bit for my conditions. My expectations of the way it broke down, it performed well. I'm not complaining, but even in the loose terrains, once you get outside of this scoop and you get over where you're just relying on these sides, the rear end came around super quick. Once you got on a side hill where you're really relying on this outside row to keep you on the mountainside, the rear end would drop down below you. I can't say I'm not going to do it again because obviously I got another one, so I'm going to do it again. Can I change my riding style? Possibly, but it literally drove me to the point of first and foremost, they sent me a free tire. I said, fine, I'm going to go ahead and buy a Dunlop tire that I wouldn't normally buy, which is the 34 over here. Specifically because it's the closest thing they've got out to the old 81. But if you go start doing, the old, I'm going to push on it, like softness. That thing is stiff. This one's the new one, so we'll do that one. So this tire is softer than both of those. So it'll be interesting to see what my consensus is. So, what am I going to do next? I'm going to continue riding the 81. Yeah, I'll continue riding the 81. I'll probably continue riding the 81 in the front as well. Oh, they also sent me a new front tire. Like, they're pretty good. Dunlop is good. If you have good communication and you talk to them, they're pretty good. I like them. So, this, though, is the 9100. Whereas I want to say, now I got to open the door. The one I have on the wall. God, I'm glad I don't do YouTube for a living. That'd be horrible at this. I'd have to put in effort and think about it. What is this guy? This was the camera. Can you focus? Because I can't see. This is whatever the other size was. I like the 91. So this is the 80. Yeah, this is the 8100 instead of the 9100. So this one was actually more narrow. I should probably take it off the wall to do it justice, but I don't know. I really like that front tire. I will be buying that front tire. Look, there's a rear bumper in my car. Anyway, I will be buying that front tire as a replacement tire moving forward. According to Dunlop, it was designed based on the 33, which everybody really likes for the front tire. They incorporated a lot of that. What else do I really want to say? I mean, I really wanted to like this tire. I really did. And I'm not saying it's a bad tire. So in my videos where I go riding, the sandy areas, this tire is absolutely phenomenal. Because it's sand. You got high wheel speed, everything goes great. Where I get into more of the rocky terrain and the side hilling, I mean, I've said it in the videos. If you go back and watch it, like the rear end dropped out. How big of a concern is that? I don't know quite yet. Just as a comparison, I will say the front end went 100% AT82. The rear end, traction and forward bite, AT82 all day long. Flat tracking gets sketchy. AT81 overall consistency in predictability when it wears wins. So, I don't know. Take it, leave it, love it, hate it. I am going to be doing, I guess, more of these. So, once I swap out this 81, I think I'll probably start another video as far as reviews on whichever one I throw on next. Once again, I'm Southern California. You guys can watch the videos of the type of riding I'm doing. My expectation is consistent wear. If I get a good 20 hours, 20 plus hours out of a tire, I really don't have much to complain about. And that's why it's kind of interesting, because I didn't flip this until I want to say it was 24 or 25 hours. And then once I flipped it and put it on the other direction, put another 10 hours on it, it really wasn't that bad. But the difference between being able to get forward bite, which even worn, this worn tire at, I'll say 34 hours, gets better forward bite than I'll probably even say this tire right here. Like, this thing just, it's got better forward bite. That's all there is to it. Problem is once you get out of the scoop and you get on these two little lugs on the side, it just does not perform as well. Dunlop, if you could redesign this with just more side lugs, change the spacing slightly, like not terrible. Actually, I think the Tusk tire would probably be a good representation. So if you look at the Tusk, it's not, if you go lug for lug, it's not far off, but it's just enough. Just enough that the spacing's just a little bit too far. Wow, that's actually really close. Interesting. But it is. It's just that much further apart. And that little bit of spacing. Now, if I do the same comparison, obviously, with the 84, or not 84, 34, it's much more extreme difference. But I think if the 82 had a similar lug spacing, just slightly better than what it is, I think it would perform better on side angle. It just doesn't have, or maybe that's part of it. It doesn't have any castle blocking, so maybe these are just falling off. Yeah, but then again, I ride this at stupid low pressures, so tire may be folding. There are a lot of contributing factors. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now, that I'm willing to say for now. Yeah, long-term review, I'm disappointed. Does it perform better? In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. I was hoping for always better or the same. So, as far as wear goes, I think it wears better over time for forward bite and traction. For lean angle, it just is what it is. If you do buy this tire, I'm going to tell you, run lower pressures than you think you should. And I'll give you this as a guide. If you go out and you ride it, and you're riding it, I don't know, 12 PSI or something like that, and you notice that you got wear on the front and wear just barely on the inside, the tire is not doing its job. It's not being able to work. It's not giving you a good footprint. It's not flattening out. It's easy to do on this one. This guy's worn out. So it, with the lower pressures, you just get a better footprint with the give and the platform and the chocolate pudding. That's better traction. If you're not getting at least those 3 lugs full contact, because you can see, like, I push it down. If you're not getting that kind of contact, your pressures are too high. Now, obviously, if you go into higher speeds, you have to bump it up because your impacts. But if you're doing trail riding and you're not getting at least these 3 lugs, 1, 2, 3, full contact on the ground, your pressures are too high. Now, obviously, that's my opinion. Opinions are like assholes and they all stink. So it's up to you. Do what you want. That's me, that's mine. I'll keep posting videos, not because I care about you, but because I want to document it for me and my friends. And if you learn something along the way, cool. Thanks and bye.